some of our surrounding states seem to be taking a serious look at legalizing marijuana for recreational use. We've heard from the candidate Hong, Representative Riley. Do you have an opinion on that?
I would support it. Obviously, not having seen any sort of legislation, I would refrain from saying how I would support it, but I would if it was done correctly. The federal government this summer did obviously not choose to make it a lesser classification, and that will be difficult. I think the difficulties are, how do you transfer this money? This money is federal money. It's federally deposited money, and you can't take that money and put it in a bank. You have to do certain things. How do you go about it? And with the federal government not making it a lower class substance, it makes it difficult. I am in support of it. I would suggest I have visited 2 of the facilities here in eastern Connecticut that distribute marijuana. I have 2 friends that are on it for MS, and they are in complete agreement that this has made their quality of life a whole lot better. It's a much less severe drug than an opioid, and I just don't understand why in a correct medical setting that this can't be expanded and used for personal use in your own home as well.
Sure.
Mr. Dempsky.
So, right, yeah. and so one of the important points about the act that Representative Riley was talking about, where the federal government failed to remove marijuana as a Schedule I drug, that has ramifications down through the state. So if the state decided that, for instance, it wanted to allow recreational use of marijuana, that's going to necessitate people growing it, selling it, et cetera. And the federal government could still at any time step in and choose to exercise that federal law that has it as a Schedule I drug. So there's a potential conflict there. Like I said, I hope I'm not going to sound like a broken record, but I probably will. But when you talk about federalism and seeing what other states are able to do, we've already got a few states out there who, like Colorado, have been the first through the door in legalizing this recreationally. So I would, before voting for recreational use in this state, like to see several years of information come out of these other states before we open that door and start to deal with unintended consequences that may arise from legalizing it in that fashion. And again, I want to underscore that I am fully in favor of legalizing it for medical use, because I think that the statistics and the information bear out that has positive effects and very few negative. But with regard to recreational, I would want to hold off on that and wait for some more information
and
to come out.
Just to clarify before we
situation.
move on, it sounds like you'd like the federal government to get out of the way and let the states sort this out.
Yeah, for the most part, I'm very much in favor of strong state governments and returning federal government to what was designed as its limited role. The federal government's supposed to have specific enumerated powers, and they've gone well beyond that and have now taken control over the states in areas that they shouldn't have.
Okay.
If I could.
Very briefly.
Very briefly,
because some other territory.
I was just making my comment in response, but there have been a number of studies which I have copied from Colorado and from Washington that have shown their statistics for decrease in crime rate, especially in Colorado. They did not get the kind of windfall benefit to their budget that they were hoping for, but the other benefits that you had some concerns about have proven not to be true. It does not expand the use of narcotics or other drugs. It is not. It's not turning more people going from marijuana into harder drugs. It's being shown that it's not, and it has actually decreased their crime rate. So I'd be happy to share that with both of you.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on to the next question is from Claire Bissett, and it's to Mr. Dempsky.